it's heating up. We were watching that first game, Lansing versus Delta, and oh my, the Delta players came to play hard.
Yeah, whenever a tournament comes like this, there's a lot of emotion, Dave, and both teams were late getting here because of this terrible weather we had, and Lansing started off 7-0, and then Delta turns right back around and scores about 13 and goes up on them and never gets caught from there on.
Now, Coach, you've been in the state finals a couple of times, so you know what it takes to get there, but you also know it takes one game at a time, and the way Delta played that first game, you can't be looking past Macomb because these fellows have really played well all year long.
There's no way to look by anybody, Dave. You don't get this far without having a good team, and people play emotional basketball, and that's what it's really all about, though. It's fun to go at it, and I just hope that we're ready. I think we are. We didn't do a whole lot in practice yesterday in terms of expending a lot of energy. We did a lot of talking and a lot of shooting, and I think we got the right mental approach, and the key, again, is going to be our defense. This is a good defensive team that Macomb has got. We're going to have to play defense equal to or better than theirs to be able to come out ahead in this game.
Well, it's certainly a big game tonight. We've got people here that were willing to brave that cold, and I don't think they're going to be disappointed. Do you look for an up-tempo game against this defensive-oriented team like Macomb?
No, I don't. Macomb has been a team all year long that holds the score down. Their game against Henry Ford Wednesday night was an overtime game, and the score was in the 70s, 77-74. So I think the preparation for this game was really good because of Kellogg, the way they played against us the last couple of times. This team has beaten Kellogg by 14. I got to see that game early in the season before Christmas. They've changed a lot. Of course, they've improved a lot since then, but it should be a great basketball game. But again, I think the key to watch, if you're watching this game on television, the key to watch is the defenses, because the best defensive team, I think, is going to come out of this thing ahead.
One other thing, you had kind of a cold shooting night from especially three-point range the other night. Have you talked at all about that? Or?
Well, we did a lot of shooting, and we just got a lot of that has to do with Randy and Chris, because they're going to take a lot of our threes, and Mike. He didn't shoot the three very well, and hopefully they'll be ready to get their feet set and shoot a little stronger and a little better tonight.
Well, it should be a great game, Coach.
Thanks a lot, Dave.
Yep. Well, we're just about ready to get underway. We'll have the introduction of our starting lineups following the national anthem. Number 25 for Macomb is Corey Bowman. And number 20 from Gull Lake, 4.7 points per game, Jason Korstange. Number 20, Steve Spybrook for Macomb. Number 43 from Muskegon is Janaka Sanders, 12.3 points per game, 5.8 rebounds per game, and 5.3 assists per game. Number 35, Jamar Cunningham. Number 51 from Muskegon Christian is Randy Prince at 20 points per game and 7.8 rebounds a game. Number 45, Rich Warren for Macomb. And number 55 from Kalamazoo Central, Mike McKinley at 15.6 points per game and 6.7 rebounds a game. At center for Macomb, number 54, Brett Gould. And for the Cougars at center, number 54, Leroy King at 18.4 points per game, 7.5 rebounds per game. The Cougars are coached by Dick Schultz and Kevin Skaggs. Macomb by Henry Washington. Gordon, this is semifinals of the state tournament, and judging by that first game, the East Conference is tough.
Yeah, Dave, that's right. They have some athletes there. In that first game was a surprising game. One of the big stories tonight is the weather. Again, it has been a lot of these games, but we're getting off to a start an hour and 15 minutes late because the teams were late and all kinds of problems with that. A number of games canceled, but the Final Four here goes on. The Macomb comes in at 18-10, Dave. Naturally, when they've won a couple tournament games, they're on a good streak. They reversed, they beat Henry Ford in the second tournament game, 77-74 in overtime. And
I guess double overtime.
Yeah, and they had beat, they had been beat twice by Henry Ford during the season. Macomb finished at third in the league. Now they play a little slower tempo than Kalamazoo Valley does. They average about 75 points a game, and they put a lot of players in the game. Their leading scorer is only averaging 11 points a game, which is very low. They got 13 guys here tonight, and you can sort of count on seeing all of them.
Okay, we'll do that. And Randy Prince and Brett and Rich Warren jumping center. Mike McKinley saves it off the leg of Corey Bowman, and the Cougars will have first possession.
Now they have a large roster and a few people hurt, Dave. Coach Washington said that they have played 17 players in a lot of games.
Gee whiz.
So,
well, we'll see how the Cougars do with their first possession. One thing I noticed about the Delta team we saw here a few minutes ago, they were not a big team like Macomb is not a big team, but again, they play the tough defense and they're very quick, so it'll be an interesting matchup.
Macomb's biggest player is on the bench. He's a
Wybrook for two, doesn't get it. Rebound, Korstange.
52 number 52, Mike Radke is 6'7", 265, and he's a horse, but the rest of them are
Randy
not that
Prince
big.
for three, he's got it. Good start for Randy. 19:16 on the clock. Cougars in a man-to-man defense. Cunningham with the ball, looks inside over to Bowman. Bowman drives and scores. Tough shot by Corey Bowman.
Yeah, Leroy King had good position, just as we commented before, too far underneath. They won't give you that call.
Tough pass, but Jason Korstange recovers. To Sanders, and he has a block, but he's fouled on the blocks. Nice pass by Mike McKinley.
Just going around on their scoring averages, Dave, you got Corey Bowman, number 25. He's got his back to us there. He averages 11 points a game. Brett Gould, 54, who's also got his back to us on the lane, the big man. He's got 10 points. He's at 6'7", 205. And then Rich Warren, number 45, averages 10 points. He's their leading rebounder at 7.5 a game.
Well, Giannakis, about a 60% free throw shooter. He'll have one more. And he gets them both, and the Cougars up 5-2 with 18:38 on the clock. Cunningham across the middle and shoots. Off the back of the rim. Sanders with a rebound, and we get a foul underneath on number 45, Rich Warren. Like you were saying, a nasty night to drive on the roads, but we've got pretty good following here.
Yeah, there's
some people on this side who usually this side isn't down, so under circumstances.
Yeah,
good pass inside to King. He doesn't get it. Tip. And loose ball's picked up by Gould.
You mentioned, Dave, that the Kalamazoo Central Lloyd Norwich game is canceled, so the roads are bad.
Yeah. Steal by Randy Prince, and we've got a home run pass to McKinley, who tries to give it off to Leroy King.
Now, Delta's played some west side teams there, Dave, and I'll get to their records when there's a
Delta
stop
or
in the
Macomb?
play. Okay.
Delta or Macomb?
I'm sorry, Macomb. Macomb split with Muskegon. They won 106-72, and they lost 66-65. They beat Kellogg a couple of times, and Lake Michigan beat them.
Into one, he puts it up over Randy and scores.
So
cuts the lead to 1, 5-4.
They're 3-2 against West Side teams.
Jason Corstange back to McKinley for 3. Mike doesn't get it.
That didn't go in, but that's a good shot for us. We got somebody taking that 3 at the top of the circle.
Cougars up by 1, 5-4 in the early going. Bowman.
Good pressure by Tanaka Sanders.
And loose ball. Sanders picks it up.
He stole that one twice.
To Randy Prince. He doesn't get it. Oh, Randy's going to be upset with himself about that one.
We missed a couple close in. King missed one there. Prince missed one.
Spybrook a long way from the basket. Starts a drive. King swats it away, but Gould's underneath the basket, picks up the loose ball and scores for Macomb. And Macomb has their first lead at 6-5. Jason Corstange, 3-point range. He's got it.
He's pumped, Dave.
Yep.
He liked that one.
Well, I think we're about 2 out of 3 right now from 3-point range, which is a whole lot better than Wednesday night. 8-6. Cougars up by 2 with 16 minutes left in the first half. Inside to Gould. He spins, fires, and scores. Tough shot.
Yeah.
Mike McKinley, leaner, and Mike scores with a soft touch.
A lot of contact, Dave, no call. I thought they let him play in the first game tonight, and there was they don't call the small bump.
Randy Prince jumps in front of the pass and comes up with the ball. Cougars on the attack. Sanders had a lane to the basket for a second.
Dave, you do see that in the tournament games, though. The refs do not want to decide the game themselves, and they let the players play.
Jason Corstange doesn't have any luck with that shot. Well, you know, you run into that situation with a verticality type thing where it's really hard to call it one way or the other. Long pass to Mike McKinley. He's got an advantage to Leroy King. Back to McKinley. We've got a hurt player. Rich Warren is on the ground in a lot of pain right now.
Boy, I didn't see the play, Dave.
I didn't either. Doug West is running to his assistance.
Well, we've had a couple problems, injury problems. We went
like
most of the year. Yeah, he might have stepped on Leroy King's foot. He was in the area.
42, Jason Kale, and 24 is on here somewhere. Courtney Wells.
Dave, maybe a good time to go through the first game there, and that was a bit of a shocker in that Lansing went down, and they were 26-1, rated 7th in the country, and they lost to Delta. Now Delta finished first on the other side of the state, so it's not not that much of a shock, but they were up, say, 47-29 at half, and they won 100-81. The difference in the game was threes. There's a guy named Wes Wood, and you better cover him because he had 9 threes and 33 points. The book said 9.
Okay.
Everybody thought 10, but the book said 9.
How many points in all did he have?
33.
Okay.
Had Waterman at 16, and Rob Brown had 24, Antoine Brown. So you got the Browns and Wes Wood that somebody's going to have a problem with tomorrow night.
Bowman with the quick shot. Doesn't get it. Tip. Sanders off of the rebound. Up quickly for the Cougars. To McKinley. Stops from 10. No. Tip by King is good. Leroy King with a foul. 12-8. Cougars up by 4 with 14:18 on the clock. .52 into the game is Mike Ratke for Macomb. Saved by Sanders. Up quickly to Randy Prince. He starts a drive, and then he's fouled across the wrist by number 25, Corey Bowman.
Well, Dave, one thing we won't see out of Macomb is a lot of threes.
Okay.
Coach Washington said they can shoot them, but they really don't. And
12-8. Cougars up by 4. They'll have possession under their own basket as Jeff Duval and Chris Higgins check into the game.
These days, when you do see an upset
And Sean Nealon.
like that Lansing game, quite often it is caused by threes.
Quick pass to Higgins, and Chris gets on the board right away.
I like to see Chris get his first basket there, Dave. He can make or break if they go into a zone or something.
We've got 14 points and 6 Cougars have scored. A little unusual, but a real good indication. Number 24, Courtney Wells with that basket for Macomb.
That was a pretty good example of that, Dave. He did not look first. He looked first to pass inside, took it when he had it.
Sean Nealon has it stripped. And the battle, and Randy Prince picks it up, forces a shot, scores, and he's fouled. Randy Prince with his 5th point, and he'll go to the line for one more. Randy, a 78% free throw shooter on the year. Coach is talking with Jason. Well, he just stopped, so I won't. I was going to try to cut down, and we'll intercept some of his strategy, but we'll get back into the game here. Number 22 into the game is Mike McLaughlin for Macomb, and Randy Prince completes that 3-point play. Cougars up by 7, 17-10. Near steal by Higgins, but Ratke strong to the basket. Had he not been so strong, I think Chris Higgins would have popped that ball out of there.
It's not just the strength, Dave, it's the size too. When you have a chest the size he does, you can chest up on offense, and it creates a hole.
Chris Higgins drives to the basket, jam! All right, Chris Higgins. Grab like that one.
Yeah.
I don't recall Chris getting any stuffs. And
yeah, he certainly can. He can get up.
Nealon with a steal. He'll stop it too. No, he'll just
he's
lay
got
it in.
better of it there, Dave.
Well, he had a Macomb defender on his back, and so Sean put it in. Cougars up big, 21-12, 12-27 left to play in the first half.
Good work, Randy. You'll be taking it out now, Chris, okay? Leroy's got Randy, so get your matchups. Who are you guarding now? Okay, you got 54, Leroy, okay? Good job, Sean. Way to be on your toes now. We don't want to, that's it. When you can get it, you can gamble like that, but don't want to get out of position. Okay, you do a great job of that, okay? Now, we're going to stay, man, we're going to stay in layup if they stay tight out like they are. See, they're playing piranha-type defense, so we can spread them out and just have to make good decisions on it. That big guy came out after Chris and blows right by him. But you just have to make good decisions. Don't feel like you have to do it right away. Just pass the ball, pass and cut. Stay on balance and cut to the hole when it comes to double team. Let's go.
Well, Dave, it's good start here in the first 8 minutes.
Oh, my.
No complaints about this.
Well, Chris Higgins and Sean Nealon brought in a spark off the bench tonight as they've contributed 6 points already and a couple of steals and some rebounds. And boy, the Cougars play like that, they're going to be awful tough here at home.
You see Radke setting up on the pick there. He does a lot of picking, number 52 at the top of the circle. With his size, he can set a pretty darn good one, too.
Wells to Cunningham. We're down to 4 seconds on the shot clock. McLaughlin at the buzzer.
Tough shot.
Big bucket for Macomb because the Cougars have been on a roll here in the last few minutes. And they were playing good defense, but still Macomb was able to score on the opportunity. Leroy King looks at three, starts a drive.
Chris Higgins wants that ball again, Dave.
Now Leroy with three, in and out. And a long rebound is picked up by number 54, Brett Gould. Wells on the attack for Macomb. Radke gives a nice pass to Gould, and there's an easy basket for Macomb.
See, I think Macomb has a matchup problem.
21-16, Cougars up by 5. Chris Higgins looks at three, doesn't get it. McKinley working hard. King underneath, has it go out of his hands, and it hits that overhang. So the Cougars have a little trouble handling the ball, and that turns the ball over to Macomb with 10:48 left to go in the first half. Cougars up by 5, 21-16. Radke to McLaughlin, starts a drive, has a blocked. McKinley comes up with it, and we throw it away as Macomb was looking for that transition pass. Wells from long range has it partially blocked by King, and Leroy gets the release pass. Oh yeah! Fancy there by the big guy. Oh boy! 23-16, Cougars up by 7. Good work there by Jeff Duval and Sean Neal.
Yeah, he went
with
through
their
a couple
men.
of picks.
Tough shot by Gould, and Gould gets his own rebound out of a nice follow. Tipped away by Radke, and Gould was there for the loose ball. 23-18, Cougars up by 5. 9:23 left to go in the first half. Drive into Leroy King, a pass went off of his leg. Wells with the ball. McLaughlin open. Leroy King took a jump at him to discourage the shot. And Chris Higgins with a rebound. Up quickly to Sean Nealon, who gives a pass to Duval, and Jeff got caught in no man's land and tried to put up a shot.
He was in the tall timber.
Yep.
He's afraid he was going to hit a branch if he put it up.
23-18, Cougars still up by 5. 8:36 left to go in the first half. About 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Macomb tries to push it inside. Leroy King with a steal, and he'll really jam this one. Boom! All right, Leroy King has his 6 point. He puts the Cougars up by 7, 25-18.
Yeah, he threw that one down.
Calls timeout with 8:13 left to go in the first half.
Way to work on defense. You're all right now. This timeout, I'm going to leave you in there for a second or two, but you got to play, Leroy, you got to play harder on offense. I mean on defense. I know you can do it if you can run like that. He's down there, just got to keep concentrating. Now, Randy, I want you on the big guy now. You got the guy that Chris had, okay? Good job in there, Chris, working. And we got to watch now. I don't think the great big guy is going to go out there and shoot it. So I think you can play back away from him a little bit, and really, whoever's guarding him can really help out all over the place. They come off the screens pretty well. Yes, let's go to motion now to give it a little bit of diversity, but just keep it moving now. Just run up. It's kind of like motion 10 at the end of the break, only we're not going to call it motion 10. I don't want to get that patient with it right now. I want to work and get that open jump shot. Randy, you got to go to work now in there, okay? Go to work on the boards. 5 guys have to go to boards. Let's go. Let's go. Motion state, baby.
It's funny, Dave, how Macomb calls a timeout, and they take a few seconds in the huddle, and they're out there. They beat Kalamazoo out of the huddle both times. Well, with Warren out of the game, Dave, although he's back on the bench and he's at the end, you don't know if he's going to come in. As Coach pointed out, Radke, his replacement, isn't a good shooter apparently. And
Spybrook with the shot. He's open and scores. 25-20. Well, after their timeout, they made a nice attack and had a good basket. Their first timeout, they scored about 6 straight points. So their timeouts are well taken, but a nice quick move by Leroy King.
He switches hands nicely on that one, throws it in with the right.
Pretty play by Leroy. Radke with position, and he just lays it in. 27-22, Cougars up by 5. Jason Korstange, Randy Prince, and Janaka Sanders have returned to the game. Oh, I thought Leroy had a layup.
He had him beat, Dave.
Mike McKinley for 3, doesn't get it. And the rebound goes off the hand of Randy Prince. Macomb will have possession with 6:56 left to go in the first half. Jason Kale returns to the game for Macomb.
At 6'8", 177. Tall and thin.
Gould with the quick shot, and Cougars are up by 3 now, 27-24.
No, we can't let the ball get down 5 feet from the basket like that, Dave.
King on the drive, doesn't get it, and we got a foul underneath. That's the 5th team foul on Macomb. Kalamazoo Valley has yet to be charged with a foul. Chris Higgins, Sean Nealon come back into the game.
As I said at the start of the broadcast, Dave, the refs in the first game pretty much let them play, and looks like they're going to do that again.
Sean Nealon with tough shot. Radke with a rebound. Spybrook is the lob, and nobody was there. I think Kale thought it was a shot and went for the rebound instead of looking for the ball in the lob. So didn't miss communication there for Macomb. Sean Nealon drives.
Yeah.
And he's fouled by 42.
That's Jason Kale.
Jason Kale.
We have the referees. 2 of the 3 returned from the first semifinal game. I don't know whether that was planned or whether they.
I think
had
one of the 3. The referee out
Oh,
at
I'm sorry,
midcourt
you're right.
is
Dick
the
Dykas
Eastern ref. Is the Eastern Conference ref. Sean Nealon makes that first free throw. Sean makes them both. He's been shooting free throws very well here the last week.
It may be that because he's got a drive as far as he does, that the Eastern.
Well, we've got our first foul. And Chris Higgins.
That the East Side ref does a couple more games, because you'd hate to have him.
Yeah.
It's a 5. They said they left at noon today, I think, to get over here. And they got here.
I guess there was a huge pileup on I-94 around Battle Creek.
131
afternoon.
was closed, part of it today.
And the weather didn't seem that bad
No.
I mean, there's not a lot of high winds or anything, but just that slippery snow. And rebound, loose ball. Sanders comes up with it for the Cougars. Chris Higgins looks at three. He's got it. Chris Higgins has 7 points already. Cougars up by 8, 32-24. And we've got a foul on Chris Higgins. Chris was helping out. Janakis went for the steal, and Chris jumped out on his man when Bowman got by Janakis, and Chris was charged with the foul.
We've got 2 team fouls, and both of them are on Chris Higgins.
.5:16 left to go in the first half. Already with Delta's win over Lansing, well, I take that back. Cougars would have to win over Macomb at least to get by the second seed, or get the second seed in the tournament from Michigan next week in the regional. We'll just let that one go for a while, though.
Yeah, well,
Well, I was thinking with Lansing getting beat, the Cougars already had advanced the seed, but I don't, they have to beat Macomb before that happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, in this one, it's 32-25. Cougars up by 7 with 5:06 left to go in the first half. Sean Nealon with that last foul. Cougars have 3 team fouls. Bowman dribbles it on the line. Tough defense there by Janaka Sanders as he was pressuring the man on the inline.
Yep, and he makes something happen there.
Seth Gilmer into the game for Sean Nealon. Randy Prince looks at 3, shoots, doesn't get it. Seth Gilmer with a rebound. Jason Korstange open for 3. He's got another one.
Some nice passing there, Dave. Whipped it around the circle, and Jason got the shot.
Jason has 2 threes for 6 points. Cougars up by 10, 35-25. Bowman in trouble, and, well, that didn't look like much of a foul.
Yeah,
but Randy Prince got charged with it.
That's not the type they call in a tournament usually.
Well, I think that was a case where he anticipated more contact.
Yeah.
And when the offensive player backed off and went for the pass, well, the whistle had been blown. Number 12 into the game for Macomb is Ryan Bolton. And Chris Higgins intercepts that pass. Jason Korstange to the basket. Whoop! Oh my, Jason just exploded down the lane, and Macomb didn't realize what was going on, and by the time they did, the ball was through the hoop. 37-25, and there's a good defense again by Korstange. It forced a pass that couldn't find its receiver. Jeff Duvall checks into the game, and Mike McKinley checks back into the game.
Happy bench there, Dave.
Yes,
so
sir.
far, so good. They're excited about this one.
37-25, Cougars up by 12. Reverse to Prince, he drives, spins. Back out to Higgins, good catch by Chris. That was a tough pass to handle. And we got a foul underneath by Randy Prince on a push away from the ball.
Those team fouls are evening back up, Dave.
Yeah, all of a sudden we've got 5.
Yep.
And Leroy King will check in for Randy Prince.
Both teams, as I said at the start, using a lot of players. Valley 9 or 10, and Macomb's had 10 in so far, I think, also, Dave.
3:35 left to go in the first half. Bolton has it kicked by Duval. Oh, good hustle by Jeff Duval as he saved a basket. Wells had good position underneath, but Jeff knocked it out of his hands before he had a chance to lay it in. 3:21 left now.
He and Korstands are missiles sometimes out there, Dave. He didn't get horizontal there, but
Yeah, we fell asleep there on that out of bounds play, and now the lead is 10, 37-27. Mike McKinley is Seth Gilmer in the corner. Seth is short with a shot, knocked away, and Kale comes up with it. Kale spins, shoots, and scores. Kale with that 6'8" size. Chris Higgins with the ball. Cougars up by 8. Chris shoots from three-point range. He's got 3 more.
they're going to have to cover him tonight.
Chris has 10 points already, and Cougars up by 11, 40-29.
Coach Washington didn't like that one, Dave. He says somebody's got to guard him. He was close enough that he.
Gould with
like
the shot, and McKinley with the rebound. He comes out of there with it, up to Chris Higgins. He'll look at another 3. He's a little strong with that one.
Yeah.
That's Cunningham. King with the rebound. We've got 3-on-3. Leroy to Mike McKinley from 15. Off the rim, but King with the rebound. He has it knocked out of his hands, but there's a foul on the play.
Leroy will go to the line for 1-and-1.
Leroy about a 65% free throw shooter on the year. .153 left to go in the first half. The Cougars up by 11, 40-29. King at the line for 1-and-1. He nails that first one. 9 points for Leroy King. Scoring spread out over about 5 people tonight.
Yeah. Again, it's really encouraging to see Chris Higgins shoot like this, Dave. He's got a good stroke.
Yep. 41-29, Cougars up by a dozen. Radke spins, fires, and scores. Radke with a soft touch.
Yeah, he's no ballet dancer there, Dave, but he does have a nice touch.
Long one off the mark, but Radke right there. 41-33, we're down to an 8-point ball game, 41-33. Leroy King in close, spins, and travels. 1:06 remaining in the first half. Number 32 into the game for Macomb is Larry Biankowski. Biankowski with the ball. Knocked away, and Wells comes up with it. We're down to 7 seconds on the shot clock. Gould with the shot. McKinley with the rebound, and we ought to think about one shot unless we can get a close one, and we got it. Leroy King.
One of the things you see here, Dave, is you see Leroy King following Coach Schultz's instructions, and that is Of course, you got to guard the big man down low, but when he gets away from the basket, you just got to help out. And if you watch Leroy, he's sagging off just the way the coach told him to.
We're down to 5 seconds, and Mike McKinley gets a great pass to Chris Higgins, and Chris lays it in at the buzzer. Good finish for the Cougars, and they go in at half. Up by 12, 45 to 33, and we've got a good ball game, Gordon.
Yeah, Dave, that's all you could ask for in a half. Was we played very well there again.
Well, we'll gather some stats and be back with you for the second half of this ball game tonight. Okay, we're set to go now. In the first half, Macomb was led by Gould and Ratke with 12 and 8 points. The Cougars had Higgins with 12, King with 11, and Korstange with 8. Cougars shot 50% versus 48.5 for Macomb, and Macomb out-rebounded by 18-17. So we're set to go here in the second half. Cunningham with a quick shot from the just above the free throw line, and that cuts the lead to 10. 45-35. Randy Prince with the ball to Sanders, who finds a lane to the basket, doesn't get the shot. The tip, and now McLaughlin has it.
That's an unusual play there, Dave. You don't see Sanders miss in there.
He was certainly in his range.
Yeah.
McLaughlin back to Cunningham. McLaughlin for three, and in and out. Randy Prince with the rebound. 19-10 left to go in the ball game. Inside to King, he's triple teamed, and we've got a foul.
Looks like it's on Corey Bowman. Coach Washington is disagreeing there.
Well, now it's on Brett Gould. And
I agree with him here, Dave. I don't think he was shooting on that.
Well,
I think they caught him down too low.
For whatever reason, Leroy's at the line for two. To reach the semifinals, Delta defeated Highland Park 100-91 on Wednesday. Kalamazoo Valley, of course, over Kellogg 99-85. Lansing had victory over Grand Rapids 117-90. Macomb beat Henry Ford in overtime 77-74. And in tonight's first contest, Delta defeated Lansing 100-81 to advance to the finals, which will be held Saturday, February 26th at 7:30.
There's only two Division II junior colleges that have only one loss now.
Nice steal by Leroy King, and he gives the ball to Jason Korstange. Up quickly to Sanders, who finds Prince in the corner, but Randy's checked by Radke. And now the Cougars spread the offense again. Cross court to Mike McKinley, who sets for three, doesn't get it, and a tip by King, and Leroy didn't like the call.
Well, Dave, let me go over those national rankings again here, because you've, or just a bit of them, and that is Kalamazoo Valley was number 2, and then Toledo Owens Tech took a loss. And so they're about 25-2, Kalamazoo Valley 26-1.
Ratke goes into the basket, it's blocked, but he fouls and scores to cut the lead back to 10, 47-37.
Now Lansing has stayed at number 7, despite the fact that they've only got one loss.
Until tonight. Randy Prince for three. 9 points for Randy Prince. 50-37, Cougars up by 13. $17:43 on the clock. We're down to about 10 seconds on the shot clock. Bowman has it stripped by Sanders. In the King. Knocked out of his hands and goes out of bounds off Macomb. 17:15 remains to be played. Cougars up by 13, 50-37. Steve Spybrook checking back into the game for Corey Bowman. Lob to King and doesn't get it.
Beautiful
but
play.
Leroy almost retrieved it. Pretty pass, but we couldn't get it to fall. 17:03 left to go. Gould with the shot and the foul. I trust Delta is staying in town tonight.
Yeah, again, it was normally might be a 3-hour drive and took twice that long tonight, and so if they drive back and drive over, they'll
I heard Lansing was the one that was late, though. Radke picks the pocket. Doesn't get the shot, but they get the follow. And
you got 265 in Radke, and Jason Korstange is at 140.
Sanders is fouled as he goes to the basket. Cougars up by 9, 50-41, 16:37 on the clock. Sanders at the line for 2.
I was afraid that Korstange was going to end up like an ant at a picnic
Yeah.
there when he's trying to draw a charge from Radke.
Well, let's just say he didn't have to do much acting there on that.
Right. That was a dangerous one.
That last play. Giannakis will have one more. And he scores on that one. Sanders with 3 points. He doesn't have a field goal yet tonight. McLaughlin with the ball to Cunningham. Spybrook with the shot.
That was a case where Sanders went to help out a little bit, Dave, and he lost track of him. You don't see him do that much.
Sanders to Prince. Randy Prince with 3 more.
You do see Sanders do more of that. Good assist.
Yep. 54-43. Cougars up by 11. 15:54 on the clock. Cunningham with the shot. He scores. Yeah, that pass, a little bit too much of a floater. Spybrook picks it off for Macomb. Leads down to 9, 54-45.
McKinley had a hockey move there, Dave, where when you get them down, you sort of lean on them a little and make sure they stay down.
Yeah. Foul on Leroy King. Chris Higgins into the game. Chris had an outstanding first half. He had 12 points. Excellent defense. $15:20 on the clock. Near strip by Sanders, but Cunningham recovers. McLaughlin. And a steal by Korstange. He's got a lane to the basket. 2 more for Jason. Cougars up by 11, 56-45. Korstange with 10 now. Radke with the ball, spins, fires. Nice touch.
Yeah.
Chris Higgins into Prince. Randy in traffic, and he's tied up. And Randy didn't like that call.
No.
$56-47. Cougars up by 9.
Randy thought a strip search was coming next there, Dave.
Yep. And Chris Higgins is fouled as he goes to the ball.
It's funny, Dave. That's an interesting matchup at both ends of the floor. Can Chris keep Radke off the boards, and on this end, can Radke stay with him?
Chris Higgins with the ball in the corner. Sets, fires, short, and Radke with the rebound. And Radke with the foul. Yeah, that time, yeah, Radke didn't like that call. And well, that's 4 on Radke.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he's in trouble, and he's got 10, 12 points for Macomb.
Yeah, and Warren has not come back into the game, a starter who has ankle problems.
Sanders takes it right to the middle and recovers the shot. Corstans looks at 3 off to the right. Nealon saves it, but Macomb picks up the loose ball. McLaughlin is called for a charge.
That was a little tag team play there, Dave, where Sanders kept him occupied.
Yeah. 56-47, Cougars up by 9, 14:05 on the clock.
He just didn't have a good read on where Corstange was.
Cougars spreading the defense. And yeah, I saw that. Randy got a little aggressive with that arm.
Yep.
And that's at least 3 on Randy. $13:53 remain. Cougars still clinging to a 56-47 lead. Cunningham with the ball. He drives and scores. Cunningham with a nice move.
Mr. Prince had to back off just a little bit because of that third foul.
Randy Prince sets for 3 more, and he's got it. Boy, we're living by that three-pointer tonight. We're up by 10, 59-49. We've got 8 3-pointers on the night, and that's a lot when you consider we only have 59 points.
Yeah.
Blocked by Higgins. Release to Corstans. We got numbers, 4 on 2, and Jason to the basket. Oh, it looked like he was fouled.
Yeah, and he did the right thing. He took it hard to Radke because he could not afford that 5th foul. He may have picked it up. But
I don't understand that.
Called. Well, as I say, Dave, in the tournament, the refs do not want to decide.
Now there, Mike McKinley didn't appear to touch him. But the foul was called on Mike. Cunningham with the basket and the foul, and we went for timeout. We're up by 8, 59-51 with 12:51 left to play.
Please keep it even. Just keep it even, okay? Let's get refocused. Hey, nobody is going to keep us from reaching our goal. No way. Okay? No way. Now, what you have to do, though, is really play smart, and you have to play strong with your legs. You have to do it with your legs and not your hands. The hand fouls are what they're calling. You move your legs and push and bump. They're going to push and bump the whole game. No use crying about it. Just get down there and play hard. That's the way higher levels of basketball are played all the time. You just got to make sure you play solid and stay strong with it. All right, on offense now they went back to motion, or they went back to a man. So let's go to shell 5 right now, but stay spread out. Penetrate, run your loops if you need to run a loop. And Randy, you got to work for the ball down inside. You got to want it down inside, okay? Way to shoot the 3. Let's dig in on defense now. Let's go. Let's go.
Well, Dave, again, before the huddle, Coach Schultz had the same observation you did. He was just asking the ref to keep it even. He thought maybe that Radke had picked up that 5th foul.
Yeah, that would definitely hurt Macomb to have Radke foul out. Cunningham with 1 from the line. He gets it, and that cuts the lead to 7, 59-52. Mike McKinley. And he's fouled by Cunningham. Randy Prince will put the ball into play for the Cougars. Sean Nealon. What was the call?
The call was out of bounds, Dave. It was,
I
think he got a hip check there and went out of bounds. A few years ago, they used to have a force-out call, but they don't have that anymore.
Cunningham across the middle, checked by McKinley. Wells with the ball. Knocked away by Higgins. Cougars have the numbers. Sean Nealon to the basket, and he's fouled by Cunningham. Slick play by Sean Nealon. Good read by the Cougars. 6 points for Sean.
Well, Dave, the Cougars have played well tonight so far. They have not by any means put the game away, though, with just a 9-point lead. But their shooting's been a little better than it has been in.
Certainly their three-point shooting has been
their outside shooting.
Very effective.
They started off and they missed a few inside, so their percentage may not be as good as normal. But
I think Macomb came in here wanting to take away the inside game and making the Cougars score from the outside, and the Cougars, outside of a few transition baskets, have done a lot of their scoring from the perimeter.
yeah, they've packed it back in that zone and left the passing lanes outside open.
Ratke in close. Well, you see him give a shoulder to Leroy King before the shot. Oh my, he plays rough. Maybe Wayne Fonts ought to take a look at that guy.
Yeah.
Ball's kicked out of bounds. And it's stripped from Mike McKinley. Macomb knocked it out of bounds. Mike McKinley from 15, he's got it. Mike McKinley.
That was a good shot selection there, Dave. We had 3 or 4 guys who could have put it up, but it would have been a little too tight. We got a nice shot there.
That's Mike's second basket of the night. He's got 4. Cougars up by 10, 64-54. Cunningham with the shot. Doesn't get it, but Ratke with the good hands. Well, I think what they called was Jeff Duval touched it. Was out of bounds when he touched the ball when Ratke had possession.
Well, they called it on him, Dave. It's his first foul.
Oh, that was a foul. Okay. Oh, just great steal by Jeff Duval, and he put it in a position that Sean Nealon could get it and put it to Chris Higgins. So
good presence of mind there.
good ad lib by Jeff Duval, and oh, there's another steal. And the Cougars looking tough on defense here as they bring in that quickness. (66-54). Cougars up by 12 with 11:07 remaining. And Jeff Duval is just creating all sorts of havoc for his man right now, trying to pass and shoot. And Chris obviously has recovered from the flu. He seems to have all his jets back.
Right.
Bowman looks inside to Ratke, but he's covered by King. Sean Nealon harassing McLaughlin. Ooh. Knocked away. Here comes Sean Nealon, and he'll jam it home. Boom, he's got it. Sean Nealon with his 8th point. And Macomb wants timeout with 10:33 left The Cougars on top, 68-54.
Way to get those hustle plays going our way. That's a super job. Leroy, if it's 2 minutes at a time and rest, it's got to be all out. You got to be all out in front. The way they're posting, when they stick those arms out, you got to move your feet, spin your body around in front of him, and when he's spinning, you're coming to help him. Now, after the guy comes across and picks, he's going to come right back up the middle. So guards got to try to help as much as you can back in on those big guys. Okay, don't get so spread out for the steal every time that you let them dump it down in there. The big guys are hurting us close, so we got to keep it away from there. If you can get it, keep the pressure on, but also get back there to help as much as you can. Okay, on offense now, run against the press probably, and run motion on offense. Let's get good shots. Let's go. Let's go.
Well, Dave, we've opened up a 14-point bulge here, and that spurt has largely come off of the defensive end. You mentioned Jeff Duvall has knocked a couple loose. Sean Nealon steps into the passing lane there.
Well, they did a good job of disrupting that shot without fouling, and Leroy King with the rebound. So the Cougars firing up here at the midpoint of the second half. Leroy King with the ball, spins. Knocked loose. Oh, a pass to Mike McKinley.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Beautiful assist by Leroy King.
Yeah, he's mastered that no-look pass.
.9:42 left to play in the game. The Cougars up by 16, 70-54. Knocked away by King, and Jeff Duvall did everything he could to save it, but he could not make that in time, and so it will go out of bounds to Macomb.
Well, Dave, he's doing what you... He didn't start tonight, but he's doing just what you like a sub to do, and that is to come in and play hard, not to coast when he's in there, and he's
certainly not coasting. Well, he has yet to score, Gordon, but he's been just a dominant factor here the last 5 minutes with his harassing on defense.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes good positioning on defense doesn't show up on the stat sheet the same way it does at the offensive end.
Yeah. McLaughlin with the shot. 70-55 in favor of the Cougars as Prince checks back into the game for Chris Higgins. McLaughlin gets both free throws. McKinley back to King, back to McKinley. Sanders doesn't get it. Radke knocked it loose, and McKinley picked it up, foul, and scores. The Cougars stay with it and get a bunch of opportunities there off the offensive glass and cash in as they get up by 16 again, 72-56. Gould shakes loose underneath. Sanders on the attack for the Cougars. Prince sets for three. He's got another one. Randy Prince has, I think he's 4 for 4 here in the second half. He's got 4 threes for 12 points in the second half, 18 overall. Yeah, that hurt. That's potential 4-point play as Giannakis momentum carried him into the shooter after the shooter let loose, and the shooter got the basket. 75-61.
Got Rail coming in for Radke. That's Radke's first break in the second half. We saw a little freer substitution by Macomb in the first.
Yeah. Well, behind like they are, they might be looking more for the three-point shot, which is not, like we said early on, a part of their game as a rule. And Radke, or not Radke, but McLaughlin completes the four-point play to make the score 75-62. King to Sanders. He gets the basket and he's fouled. Great reverse by Sanders after the pass from King.
Yeah, he switched hands on that one even while he was being fouled. Nice crossover.
That was a tough shot. He had to put the proper English on it too.
Yeah.
77-62. Cougars back up by 15. Giannakis with his 6th point. .820 remain. The Cougars have a 16-point advantage. Knocked out of bounds by Leroy King. Radke wasn't out for long. Again, the finals will be tomorrow night, which is Saturday the 26th. Oh, Jeff Duval nearly strips the ball, but they're going to call a held ball, and that will go to Macomb on the possession.
Yeah, he had 60% of the ball there, Dave. He was able to pry it loose.
But again, 7:30 tomorrow night will be the starting for the finals of the state tournament.
The women's finals will be at 5:15.
The Cougar Cagers will be performing also tomorrow night. Cunningham runs into heavy traffic, but the loose ball is picked up by Kale, and he scores to cut the lead to 14, 78-64 with 7:47 remaining. Mike McKinley doesn't get it. Leroy King following the play, comes up with a loose ball. Doesn't get the basket, but he's fouled on the shot.
Well, Dave, this is a good chance. The Cougar bench has really come through tonight.
Yeah.
We mentioned Jeff Duvall, Chris Higgins.
Sean Nealon also has played very well.
Yeah, and that
King at the line for two.
the bench at Kalamazoo Valley has really developed nicely, and that this year, and that makes a bigger difference in the tournament when you have back-to-back games and people's legs aren't fresh.
Well, with the intensity and the pace of the game, you just have to have a rotation or you'll get worn down.
Yeah. Western's in a situation, Western Michigan, where they have 7 players, and they'd have a tough time.
Of course, they miss McGee.
Oh, yeah.
Sanders with the rebound. Out quickly. Oh, what a pass.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that happened so fast I couldn't even get it out.
Yeah, a little French pastry on the end there by Leroy King.
The basket by Sanders, but Leroy King with the exceptional pass.
Good help by Giannakis Sanders.
Gould has it knocked out of his hands, and that will be Macomb ball. 80-64 with 7:05 left to play. Spybrook looks into Radke. Good front there by Leroy King. Kale with the 15-footer. Prince with a rebound. Up quickly to King. Leroy to the basket. Has it knocked out of the air by Kale. And now Macomb on the attack. McLaughlin looked for three. And has a pass blocked by Korstange. Up quickly to Randy Prince. And that's knocked out of bounds by Spybrook. So Cougars a little sloppy on that exchange, but they maintain possession.
We've made good use of the long pass tonight, Dave. And one of the things that you want to see is when you beat that press, you got to make them pay, and we've done that pretty well tonight. If we've had 4-on-3, we haven't pulled the ball back. We've
foul on Kale. That's the 10th foul on Macomb, so the Cougars will be shooting 2. The Cougars have 8 team fouls themselves. And Sean misses the first one, but he'll have one more. And he scores on that one. Sean has 9 points on the night. Cougars up by 17, 81 to 64.
Well, you mentioned a couple times, Dave, the Cougars, it looks like they'll be playing in the finals if this holds, and that game will be at 7:30 tomorrow night. Women's State Championship game will be at 5:15.
We've got a block on Spybrook, and this win is a big one because it advances at least to the number 2 Michigan seed in the regional, and that's a plus. Coach was talking about some of the scheduling, and if worse comes to worse, we'll still have at least the number 2 seed from Michigan come next week if this score holds. Nealon at the line for 2.
You've got Toledo Owens Tech likely coming out of Ohio, a good possibility of being the number 1 seed, and they're going to be a tough draw there. You just soon make Lansing and Toledo fight it out before you have to play them, especially in a tournament situation.
Higgins with a rebound, doesn't get it, but we've got a jump ball, and I think possession goes to Valley this time.
That's right. You'd like to make Toledo and Lansing play it off, and then you play them the next day.
82-66, Cougars up by 16 with 6:08 remaining, and timeout on the floor.
Okay, now understand what I'm going to say right now. 6 minutes to go, 16 points. The clock's our friend. We still want to look for fast breaks. If they have a tendency to go to the offensive boards hard and we get the rebound, we could get a layup, so we're still looking long for a layup. And we're pushing the ball down the floor, but we don't really need to shoot quick. In other words, even on that shot, Chris, when you grab that rebound, if it isn't there, bring it around. Because what'll happen then is they're going to come after you harder. They're going to foul you more. We're going to get to the line a lot, and you're going to get layups off of it if you just take your selection. You know, I'm not telling you to stall. There's too much time to stall. We're not going to do that. But run motion and just execute motion, and don't be afraid to throw 7, 8, 9 passes before we shoot it. It's okay to pass one up now. It's okay not to drive it in there in the first 10 seconds. Handle the basketball, make a ball handling drill out of it like we've been working on.
Do we want to back out this OB? We just want inbounds and back it out?
We got 35 seconds. Let's back it out. Unless you can get a layup. If we get a layup, fine. If we don't, let's back it out.
Let's go to 5, Randy. Go back to 5 now.
Coach Schultz is working a delicate balance there, Dave, and that is that you don't want to let the air out of the ball so much that you stop scoring here. You want to slow it down and do it so you put a little more pressure on Macomb.
Six minutes remain now. We've got about 18 seconds on the shot clock. Janaka Sanders takes the lane.
We'll take 2.
He's got 10 points now. There's another steal by Sean Nealon, and he'll take this one. Boom.
Yeah.
Now we're up by 20, 86-66 with 5:22 left to play. And Gould with the basket. Radke goes halfway up the stands to try to end his momentum. Reminds me, you go in the mountains and you see those lanes for the trucks that lose their brakes. Well, that was a truck who needed some help. And
That's right. They cleared a path there for him.
Cougars up by 18. We've got about 12 seconds left on the shot clock. We're down to 6 seconds. Spin, pass to Sanders, and a basket. Oh, we worked that to perfection. Great penetration by Jason Korstange.
At least 30 seconds off the clock and got the 2 anyway.
And still hustling on defense. .431 remain. Spybrook puts it into Cunningham. Radke in close. He scores. Radke with another basket for Macomb.
Yep, as we mentioned before, he's got surprisingly soft hands for as big as he is.
88-70, Cougars up by 18. Trying to work the clock a little bit, get the good shots. Chris Higgins on the drive. Tries to flip it over to Randy Prince, but it's knocked away, and now Macomb with the shot, and Spybrook with the basket. 88-72, a 16-point advantage with 3:37 left. And getting a little sloppy right now. We're trying to spread the offense. Korstange back to Sanders. We're down to 12 seconds on the shot clock. Sanders to the basket. Feeds Nealon, and Sean with the basket. Sean with 14 points now.
Yeah. Got some steals tonight, too.
90-72. Cougars up by 18. Radke gives a nice pass to Kale. 90-74 with 2:52 remaining, and a foul on Spybrook, but a dangerous pass by Randy Prince.
Yeah. It was on the money, but it was awful tight.
Yeah.
It was something that Jerry Rice would like to catch, but in basketball it doesn't work as well.
It's one of those catches that doesn't hurt so much if you score the touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to switch professions if you take a hard knock like that and you don't catch it.
Jeff Duval, Leroy King, and Seth Gilmer into the game for the Cougars. Sean, his 15th point. We've had excellent balanced scoring tonight. We have at least 5 Cougars, maybe 6 in double figures. Sean gets them both. That may be a career high for Sean.
Yeah, he should be proud of this game. Made a lot of good decisions tonight.
I have him for 16 points. Cougars up by 18, 92-74. Jason Korstange with 10. Janaka Sanders with 12 points. Chris Higgins with 14, Leroy King with 13, and Randy Prince with 18. So what a nice balanced attack for the Cougars.
Leroy King picks up his 4th foul, and Radke's at the line. Trying to complete the 3-point play.
Bolton and Wells getting ready to check in.
No, I'm sorry. That's
Macomb?
King's 3rd. I thought that he already had 3.
Randy's the one that has 3 already.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, Jeff Duval cutting off the shooter and then going for the ball, doing his job at the free throw line. Cat and mouse by Jeff Duval, and he ends up giving Leroy King a nice pass. Leroy's fouled on the play. Well, I don't know what's making that funny noise, Gordon. But I hope we're still on. 93-76. 94-76. Leroy King with 15 points. 2:08 remain, and the Cougars are going to play in the finals tomorrow night against an outstanding Delta team, and that should be a whale of a game. Delta defeated Lansing 100-81 earlier tonight. 33-point effort by Wes Wood. And we got a three-pointer there to cut the lead to 15, 94-79 with 1:48 left to play and timeout on the floor.
Yeah, it's 15 minutes and 15 points, man. Almost 2 minutes. That's 5 more of those. Okay. I think that particular guy, you've got to stay a little tighter on him because I'm not sure he can drive around you as well as some of the other guys. The rest of them you can play a little bit softer on and get a lot of help now. But man, we use the clock every time down the floor. We take care of it. We get a good shot on it. We go to the free throw line. We drop our free throws. And we come back and we play tough half-court defense. Everybody has to be aware of where the ball is now when you're playing defense. Don't run back and just look at your man because they're going to be driving into a hole hard. They don't want to use time off the clock. Well, I don't think. If they do, that's fine. But I think they're going to come at you hard now, so your defense has got to be down and ready and packed in there together. Come on now, finish the game. Finish it strong. Let's go. Let's go.
Well, Dave, we've got a game that's running late tonight because of the snow, and this is where we haven't mentioned the home court advantage, but it is nice to play. You get to stay in the same routine that you do for all your games. You get good support from the fans here. Be able to get home, get a good night's rest.
Yep.
I know I'll be ready for the game tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow is going to be a busy day. We got more Little League tryouts at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then my son's game, which was canceled tonight, starts at noon.
Yeah. I'll coach a soccer game or two tomorrow.
And we'll be here to have this game for you. Of course, we won't be broadcasting live, but almost as good.
Yeah.
If you don't watch the news or read the paper for a couple days, well, you'll still be surprised when you watch the game on cable access.
Yeah.
Seth Gilmer with those last two free throws. $96.79. Oh! What a three-pointer by McLaughlin. Well, I think Jeff Duval did travel before he put the ball down.
Yeah.
John Couture into the game now, who helped Jeff Duval up.
And they're discussing that with the officials, saying he traveled before we hit him.
96-82. Jeff Duval goes to the line for two. $1:16 remain. And Jeff sinks that first. That's Jeff's first point of the night. And he has just been outstanding with his playmaking and defense. Tom, I don't know what you've done to the sound, but it sounds exceptionally clear. as he pats himself on the back. McLaughlin doesn't get that three. And it goes out of bounds to the Cougars with 1:03 left to play and a 16-point advantage, 98-82. Seth Gilmer gets the inbounds pass, and it goes off his hand out of bounds. Tom Trush and Mark Skinner into the game for the Cougars with 1 minute left. Cougars on top by 16, 98-82.
Out come Mr. King and Mr. Prince. They both had
A royal pair.
Yeah.
Randy with 18 and Leroy with 15. Ratke with the rebound, doesn't get it. McLaughlin with the rebound, and he's fouled by John Couture, and that puts him on the line for two. 50.6 seconds left.
Both teams in the double bonus here. Although with 51 seconds and 16 points difference, it's just going to prolong the game.
Yep. I don't know if Macomb will attempt going back tonight or if they'll stay in town.
Well, that's hard to say. Game's running late, and it'd be 5 or 6 hours. You'd hate to get stuck in the middle of the night.
Yeah. I hate to get stuck any time of the day.
Well, yeah, that's point well taken.
Well, coming to the game on Wednesday, this has been a nasty week for driving. Why, I saw that one car go in the ditch, and that was really strange. He was only going about 20 miles an hour, and all of a sudden he started swerving all over the place, and off he goes into the ditch.
Our friend John Lincoln had the good fortune to head to Florida, but he only got to Chicago today.
No, it was Detroit.
Detroit, okay. He's waiting at least 8 or 10 hours to catch a flight down to Florida. So.
Yeah. John Couture with that free throw, and he'll have a chance to put the Cougars at the century mark. Radke checks out. What a fine game he played.
Yeah.
Real soft touch for a big guy. In and out. Rebound Cunningham. Bolton doesn't get it. McLaughlin picks up the loose ball. Tries a three and doesn't get it. Jeff Duval will let it go out of bounds. 99-84. The Cougars up by 16 and will have a chance at their third state title tomorrow night. And what a thrill that'd be to win a state title in your own home court.
Yeah.
Tom Trush shakes loose underneath, but couldn't get the basket. McLaughlin comes out there with it, and he steps on the line. 18.7 seconds left. Couture has a lane to the basket, and Bolton may have hit his head on the floor, and
I think they bumped heads there, Dave.
well, that's Mark Skinner on the floor. Oh, they bumped heads? Was that one?
That may have been it, but I didn't get a good look at it.
Doug West doesn't have a microphone on him. I don't know.
That's
Jeff
probably,
Barzak and Dan Kurzman check into the game for the Cougars.
That's probably just as well that Doug West doesn't have a microphone there, Dave. Usually when he's working on people, I don't think
A little
they
less
want that
selective with the vocabulary.
Right. I don't think they want that recorded.
Well, we'll have one more game this year to do for the Cougars, and that's tomorrow night. And now Coach is going out there. We'll see if we can pick up his microphone.
Right leg. So you need to get a splint.
A fracture. Goodness sakes.
It's got it's right here, right underneath my finger. Well, why don't we pick him up and carry him out of here? You carry him out of here right now.
Gee whiz.
Underneath his butt. Underneath his butt. Easy.
Mark Skinner comes into the game in the last minute and has the misfortune of suffering a fractured ankle, it appears.
Oh boy, that's terrible.
Doug West seemed very confident that it was fractured.
Yeah.
And just a bad break for Mark, and no pun intended.
Yeah.
John Couture will go to the line. And that's just a real shame.
Well, let's see. We got
Seth Gilmer checks into the game for Mark Skinner. And John Couture scores his second point with that free throw. 100-84. Joe Hughes with that last rebound. Also into the game, number 40 is Tony Guccia. 6.4 seconds left. Cunningham with the shot. And he gets a three.
that one had a high degree of difficulty.
Yep. Couture with the ball. They're not going to call the foul.
Thank you. Thank you for letting that run.
And that will end our game kind of on a sad note with Mark Skinner fracturing a leg or an ankle. But the Cougars win 100-87 as they defeat Macomb College. And the Cougars will advance to the state finals tomorrow night with Delta, and that game will be here at Kalamazoo Valley. We'll gather some stats and be back and talk with the coach. Our final score tonight, KVCC 100, Macomb 87, as the Cougars advance in the semifinals of the state tournament. Macomb was led by Gould and Radke with 18, Cunningham with 16, and McLaughlin with 13. The Cougars were led by Randy Prince with 18, Sean Nealon with 17, Leroy King with 15, Chris Higgins with 14, Janakis with 12, and Jason Korstange with 10. So real balanced scoring for the Cougars as they have 6 guys in double figures. Rebounding 35-33 in favor of the Cougars. And shooting percentage, oddly enough, Macomb shot 55% for the game. Cougars 52.3, but a good steady offensive game for the Cougars. But our first concern, Coach Skaggs, is Mark Skinner.
Yeah, Mark ended up, we think he has a fractured leg. The trainer, Doug West, seems to think that it may be fractured in 2 places, so we're taking him to the hospital right now, and Coach Schultz is with him along with a couple other players, and they want to make sure that he's going to be okay.
Yeah, that's a tremendous
tough
downer after
Yes,
a fine game tonight against Macomb.
Yes, it is. It's just one of those things that I think this is the second broken leg Coach Schultz has had in 25 years of coaching, so it's a rarity, and it's really unfortunate. You just hate to see it happen, and we know he'll be in good hands, though, and be well taken care of.
Well, an excellent game for the Cougars tonight. They shot very well from the three-point range, and that was one of the differences between tonight's game and Kellogg's game.
Well, that was outstanding. I got to tell you, we haven't shot well from the three-point range all year, and to see the balance scoring this tonight. Randy had 5 threes. Jason stepped up and nailed a couple real big threes. Chris Higgins had a couple nice threes. It was just a great effort by all of them.
Oddly enough, one of the players I thought was a key to the game didn't put much on the board offensively, but Jeff Duval just came in there and just created all sorts of problems for Macomb.
Well, it's interesting because Jeff has been sick this last week, and we talked to him about that when he got back into the game, that not to try to press things too much and just take the game a little bit at a time and get the feel back, and frankly, I think he did a great job tonight coming off the bench.
Now, tomorrow night, we've got our work cut out for us because that Delta team just dominated Lansing tonight.
They did. They really did. I had the opportunity to watch that game, and Lansing got off to a quick 7-0 start, and I think they felt that they were playing the same team they beat back in December. Mm-hmm. And you could just see their intensity level drop, and as it dropped, Delta's picked up, and Delta had them down 18 at half, and they played a great game. Very well coached.
Delta's not a big team.
No, they're absolutely not, but they kind of remind us a little bit of Southwestern last year, who played up here and beat us in the last regular season game. They have a lot of quick guards that penetrate, and they kick the ball back out on the perimeter and shoot the three.
Wes Woods was shooting the three to beat the burn.
Well, when I went into the room, I think it was 4 minutes left, and he had 8 threes. He just shot it tonight. Outstanding shots.
Surprised Lansing. Well, they were trying to overplay the defense, and Delta worked the ball well, and more often than not, Woods would show up open, and boom, quick shot.
Well, it's interesting. Coach Fondette deserves a lot of praise. He's in the Basketball Hall of Fame in the state of Michigan. He was an outstanding high school coach at Saginaw Carleton for years. His teams come to play every night, and boy, do they pass that ball around.
They didn't get flustered either with the Lansing defense.
Absolutely not. It's interesting because that's a departure for Lansing. Lansing typically doesn't extend that zone out that far, and they tried to trap, and frankly, Lansing's team this year doesn't have the quickness that they've had in past years, and I think Delta did an excellent job against that.
Well, the Cougars will have their work cut out for them tomorrow night, a great state finals.
Yes,
and it'll be, were you involved in the last one with 1990?
Yes, I was. Yeah, I was. I've been here since '89, and we went down to Glen Oaks and beat Mott in the semifinal, which was probably one of the biggest ones we've ever had here. And then played Lansing in the finals and lost that game, but very proud of that team because they did an excellent job that year for us.
Well, it's going to be an exciting finals tomorrow night. Again, one sad note is that Mark Skinner will be out for the rest of the year.
Yes, he will, and again, he's getting a lot of support from the players. That's the first thing that was asked when we got into the team room. It wasn't a whole lot of celebration. Of course, that's good anyways because we haven't got that much to celebrate, but everybody wanted to make sure that Mark was okay first.
Okay, well, thank you, Coach Skaggs, for stepping in.
Thank you, Dave.
And again, our final, KVCC 100. Macomb 87, the Cougars advance to the finals of the state tournament tomorrow night at 7:30, and we'll have that game for you, and we'd like to thank you for watching tonight's game, and please join us again for more KVCC Action Basketball.